My name is Micah Grenz, and I am the promotions manager at South Dakota State University. Even when we talk about weeks and weeks before, that gets down to making sure that everybody that's involved in the game knows when the game is going to be taking place. That's the first step that we have to take. The second step is starting on the video production and things like that we have to do with Daktronics. With that being a very visual piece of our events, we need to make sure that that part's in place too. So those will start, those will be one of the first parts of the process that we'll begin with. Day of the game is going to be making sure that people that we have coming in for tickets and things like that, if we have special guests coming in, making sure that their tickets are in place. We have people that we honor every game, part of our Jackrabbit Top program, so making sure that their tickets are in place, making sure they have their agenda so that they know exactly where they need to be and when. Just setting up for the event, making sure our sound system's set up, making sure that all of our cameras are working. We work with our Daktronics crew on that, but we just did that right before I came over here this morning, running through the script, making sure they have the correct video and that they have it in the right place. Have a copy of our announcer script. Our announcer script is 21 pages long for a game like tonight, and so reading through that, making sure there's no spelling errors, making sure the pronunciations of all the names are there correctly. So those are some of the main duties on game day.
Okay.
Now we have a staff of, there's a graduate assistant, there's also a student intern that we have right now, and then we have a full-time Daktronics employee who runs our control room. So we work through him. He oversees their crew of about 12 people for a game like tonight. So that's the crew that I talk about. We also have a couple students that help us out when it gets to the game. We generally meet with them about 5 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game, 2 hours before the game. The fun process, it's like putting together a big puzzle. And even for Daktronics, we have a totally separate script so that their cameras need to know exactly where they need to be and when. The order that things are coming, what sponsor logos need to go on the video board with which ads and stuff like that. So it's a big puzzle. Sometimes the puzzle goes together easier than other times. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and so it's that race. Okay, I put the princess puzzle together this fast this time, and next time I put together this time, and it doesn't always get faster. Sometimes it takes longer, but that's just part of the fun of the job too. Some of it depends on what's going on for the game. Like tonight we're recognizing Nancy Niebuhr, who's worked for the university for 25 years. And so when you look at putting together a script like that, you have a lot of people you need to talk to make sure you have the correct information. So one like that would take a lot more time than, say, if we have a game going on or a contest involving students. One of those probably wouldn't take as much time because while you have to have the rules read and stuff like that, the action itself takes the place of somebody talking. And so that wouldn't take as long. But when you look at the proofreading and things like that, we read through everything at least 3, if not 4 times. And so that, when you're looking at a length of a script, takes about the same amount of time, regardless of what content we have in there.
Okay.
Every single game, and that's part of putting a script together is knowing that at some point something's going to happen that we're going to have to deviate from it. But again, that's also the enjoyable part, because talking about putting a puzzle together, we have to put a puzzle together faster that way. If you have a week to do a puzzle, sometimes you just, I'll get it done. But if, all right, you have to get this done in 30 seconds, you're working hard and you feel pretty good about it when you're done, because not only did I get it done, I got it done fast. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's kind of like a drug. Once that game ends, all right, let's get the next one going, because it feels really good when it goes well. Like, let's take a game like soccer, where there are no timeouts. For basketball, we have a separate page for every single timeout that we have, just based on the announcements we need to read and things like that. A sport like soccer, even though it takes 2 hours, the same amount of time as basketball, you're only going to have a couple page script because there's just not stoppages in play. Same thing, you know, a sport like volleyball is going to be a little bit shorter just because it happens so fast. Sometimes you can have a volleyball match done in an hour. But that's where it also gets interesting because with volleyball, you know, with basketball, we pretty much know how many timeouts, media timeouts, things like that we're going to have. With volleyball, you could go 3 games, you could go 5 games. So having those events planned in between games, knowing that a majority of the time we're not even going to need them, is it's different. But so each sport would be different from that respect.